Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Haribol, TRSV, Nectar, NECTAR, Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been trying to discuss and analyze about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that we have been trying to do in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous, present, and future videos. So let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. In the past few videos, we have been trying to analyze at length a particular term in the life and psyche of every human living entity, whether male or female, in a particular lifetime in this material world. This particular term is known as mind. According to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, a segment of the great Hindu epic, the Mahabharata, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, tells his best friend and cousin Arjuna that this particular mind, which is in subtle form, is the main driving instrument behind this chariot called the human living entity, whether male or female. This particular mind is as perennially important to that chariot called the human living entity as an engine is to every individual vehicle or machinery, or a chip is to every individual electronic other words, the absence of a chip, the absence of the engine, or the absence of mind will make that particular electronic equipment, vehicle, machinery, or human living entity totally redundant and having only scrap value henceforth. While talking about this particular mind and how it operates, when it operates, and why it operates in a particular direction, we also decided to discuss about the Sanchit karma, the Prarabdha karma, the Kriyamana karma, and the Agami karma of every individual human living entity. Sanchit karma is the storage of all the unworked karma of the past several births and deaths of every human living entity, and this particular sanchit karma or storage of unworked karma is placed in the subconscious or superconscious memory of the same human living entity. A slice of this sanchit karma called prarabdha karma is selected to lay the foundation for the next birth of the same human living entity, whether male or female. This foundation is the base on which this particular human living entity either solely reacts in his or her lifetime or bases his or her free will and kriyamana karma on. In other words, the free will that has been bestowed to every human living entity by the destiny to act according to his or her whims and fantasies is called Kriyaman Karma. Though this Kriyaman Karma is not connected to the existing prarabdha karma of the same living entity, yet it is influenced directly or indirectly by the same prarabdha karma. Now, there comes a stage where this free will kriyamana karma is either worked out or remains unworked at the time of the end of a particular lifetime of the same human living entity. In that case, this unworked kriyamana karma plus the residue of unworked prarabdha karma of that particular birth is again joined together and formed into what is known as agami karma. This agami means in English future, that is, agami karma means future karma. Whatever unworked karma of the prarabdha plus the kriyamana karma is computed and stored in that agami karma is again brought back and joined with the already existing sanchit karma of the same human living entity. Henceforth, any slice of prarabdha karma selected for this particular human living entity will have a coloring from this unworked prarabdha karma plus the agami kriyamana karma. This goes on and on in the case of every human living entity, whether male or female, in every endless life of birth and death in that seemingly infinite chain of birth and death in this material world. This is one thing that every student of life must understand before proceeding further into the importance of getting self realized, liberated from this endless cycle of repeated births and deaths, and finally getting delivered to the same Supreme Personality of Godhead as a completely evolved and mature spirit soul. Now, while discussing about this, we talked about several case histories belonging to various human living entities who usually belong to one of the three categories of humanity which comprises this society at any given lifetime. The first category consists of 75% or at least 75% of humanity consisting of human living entities, whether a male or female, who think that this life is only a gift from God and that they have every right to enjoy this life, vegetate, and enjoy all the fruits, whether bitter, sweet, or sour, that this life provides to them in one given lifetime. Such people either fail to or refuse to consider that this particular lifetime is meant to achieve and fulfill a purpose in life, mainly to to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Among the rest 25%, 20% belongs to those human living entities who for once realize that they indeed have a purpose in life, but who feel that this purpose is to lord it over the dark negative forces that have been existing in this material world for times immemorial. There is another category of chosen human beings which comprises of only 5%. These 5% also know that they have a purpose in life, but yet they also know that this purpose has to be positively material or positively spiritual in nature so that they can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the fullest. This has been going on and on for times immemorial. Kindly remember that both in the case of 20% and the case of 5%, the human living entities who are gravitating towards or attracted by the dark negative forces of this material world, plus those who are attracted by the chosen positive material and spiritual forces, are trying in their own way to satisfy God. We all are God's creation, including that mundane 75%. This we must remember all our life, and hence we must nurture a dispassionate view of all those human living entities who don't belong to our category of 75%, 20%, or 5%. While talking about the mind and these human living entities, we also came across this karma, which is the basis for every future birth or death of every human living entity. While talking about some case histories of those living entities who have decided to gravitate towards the dark negative forces, we came across several case histories which authenticate our own theory about life in general and living entities, especially human in particular. While talking about this, we also realized that there is one term called the underworld, which is a part and parcel of these dark negative forces and which has its own branches in every major or minor metropolis all over the world. When it comes to becoming a part of this underworld, we have to grudgingly accept that it is not so difficult to be a respectable and qualified part of this underworld. You need some really big negative qualities to qualify to be a respectable member of the same underworld of any metropolis anywhere in the world. However, there are several human living entities who are enamored by this underworld but who do not qualify to be a part of it. This is similar to those who are enamored by a profession, say engineering, doctor, accounts, legal, etc., but who lack the actual qualities that qualify them to be a genuine part of the same category in that particular bracket. Such people end up as mechanics, artisans, nurses, compounders, accounts assistants, and other such people who have some talent to work in that particular department, but they do not qualify for the top post. This is quite a complicated situation. There are many cases where these people do not qualify for the top position, yet they are more capable than those who have genuinely come up to occupy that top position. Yet this is based on some very strange, mysterious qualities, destiny, and karma of every human living entity. Why one person qualifies for a particular post and why another person does not qualify for the same post defies our own imagination or decision or theory. We as individuals cannot understand why such a mysterious thing happens. Nevertheless, while talking about the dark negative forces, these guys who were initially enamored by them end up in a place called the twilight zone or the fringe of the same underworld. It means that these people prefer to forcibly or otherwise try to sail in two different boats at the same time. They want to have the cake and eat it too. They belong to both the 75% category as well as the 20% category, as a result of which one day or the other, sooner or later, they are forsaken by the 75% category of the society and forgotten by the 20% category of the society, or vice versa. They are forgotten by the 75% category and forsaken by the 20% category. Nevertheless, the genuine members of the 20% category cannot be stopped in using these people to their own nefarious end unscrupulously. It happens all the time. Without knowing it, these people from the twilight zone either start working for the genuine members of the 20% or to the benefit of the lawmen who have always tried to nail down the genuine persons from the underworld. This again is a very complicated process. These people in the twilight zone do not have a charmed life. They have already been forsaken and forgotten by the 75% society. They become inimical to the genuine members of the 20% and they become victims of the lawmen who are after these genuine members of the underworld. However, besides this, they have their own venomous enemies in their own fringe of twilight zone. There is a lot of competition, vindictiveness, venom, poison, anger, fury, frustration, and distrust among various members of this twilight zone, which makes them go at each other's throats regularly. Here, these poor guys get exploited by the lawmen, the genuine members of the 20% category of dark negative forces, plus by those in the twilight zone who are happy to cater to the whims and fantasies of those chosen ones from the 20%. In this process, they victimize their own category human living entities in the twilight zone. And how? This we will try to discuss in this particular video to make us understand how it happens. So let us begin. This case history actually belongs the underworld of the early 10th and 20s of the 20th century of New York in the United States of America. The person concerned is known as Ferdinand Bokia. This is all I wanted to talk about in this particular video. We shall continue this discussion in my next video. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this subject in this video. Please give me your own expert views, thoughts, ideas, and opinions so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.